Okay, so one of the first steps in picking a research topic, so that's one of our first assignments in this class, is to pick a topic that you're interested in learning more about, a research topic that you'll eventually write a research paper about, and then in the first part of the class we're going to pick a research topic that you're going to try to find articles about. And I broadly gave you the idea that you should pick something related to the medical field or nursing. So one of the first things that you can do is to brainstorm or create a mind map related to a broad topic and sort of break down your idea into subtopics. And I just found this app called Mind Up. It's a kind of mind mapping app. Um, and it allows you to sort of create a map around a certain topic. So I'm just going to start here and show you how you can sort of start branching out upon a broad idea. So say my topic is depression, that's what I want to write about, but I'm not sure exactly how to narrow that down. So you can start by sort of broadly mapping out or branching out different areas of depression or different subtopics. So you might talk about, treatment options, for example. You might add another one called, maybe contributing factors. You might have another one called, just types of depression. And we'll have another one about demographics or people. People affected by. So let's start there and we'll see if we can branch out. We'll thought of a couple other ones, so maybe you'll do location. So if you want to talk about specific places, or you might get into the nitty-gritty of depression and look at signs and symptoms. So these are all still quite broad topics. The treatment options for depression can be broken down further. So if we start at this point now and try to further brainstorm different treatment options available, we don't want that one, so we want one of these guys. This app calls that option child node. I'll just move the screen here so you can see. So if I want to branch out from a specific area, I'll click that one. So treatment options. You might want to just do a Google search on treatment options and see what comes up, or read, a Wikipedia page, or just brainstorm ideas by asking friends and family, or doing a little bit of separate research just to start. But you can brainstorm some. So obviously maybe we're familiar with medications as a treatment option. We might add another one here. So other ones you might be familiar with, cognitive behavioral therapy. We'll add another one. Oops, not one there. One there. Music therapy could be another area that you're interested in. Pet therapy. I've heard of therapy dogs, so maybe that's a topic that someone could talk about. Art therapy. So again, you're trying to narrow down these broad topics and find a more specific area that you can focus in on. So because your research paper is quite short, you might not have time to cover all of these topics, so it's good, again, to narrow this down. So let's take a look at contributing factors. We might break that down further. So contributing factor to depression could be job stress. It could also be genetics, heredity. I'm not sure if I spelled that right, but we'll go with it. Other factors could include divorce or relationships. Could be sickness. Or health-related reasons. And other reasons why that could contribute to our depression could be nutrition, lack of exercise, that kind of stuff. So again, you might brainstorm further on this topic and further develop the contributing factor. So you could write a whole paper, say, just on a specific area. How does divorce affect depression? That kind of thing. So again, it helps you narrow these down. If we look at types of depression, again, this is a big one. Oops, we want to go here. So there are various types of depression. I'm familiar with bipolar, postpartum, seasonal depression. So that's just a few, but I mean, we want to keep adding here. So we can already see our mind map is spreading out quite far here. And we haven't even touched these three yet, but let's say, okay, we're going to look at people now. So how do we further distinguish who we're going to talk about in our paper? Maybe we're interested only in looking at children. So how are children specifically affected by depression? Maybe we're not interested in children at all, we're interested in elderly. There's lots of talk about, care homes and depression. So there'll be lots of research on that topic that we can find. Maybe we're interested in women in particular, or we're interested in men. So you could divide it by sort of gender. Maybe we're looking at teenagers, so adolescents as a particular area. So why do adolescents struggle with depression? Demographics is really broad, right? So we could again maybe break this further and look at culture or ethnicity as a determining factor. Oops, ethnicity. So you could even go further in this one and say, maybe I want to focus solely on Indigenous peoples and their struggles with depression. Or you might look at, do people of color struggle more with depression or certain kinds of depression? And continue to sort of look at those areas. Or we might be interested in looking at maybe LGBTQ plus groups and see if there's any sort of links between sexual orientation, and depression. So that might be another area that we could focus in on. For location, again, you can generate specific research topics related to location. Obviously, we could focus on Saskatchewan if we wanted, or break that down further and say, maybe even northern Saskatchewan or Saskatoon. Or something like that, and look at how, specifically in Saskatoon, what are their treatment options for people with depression or something like that. So you can definitely go by location, by province, city, country, and those kind of factors. You might focus on signs and symptoms, so we could break this part further down. Oops, wrong one. So signs and symptoms, you could just do a Google search again, find signs and symptoms of related to depression and focus in on those. So maybe lack of energy could be one. Sadness, mourning, signs and symptoms of depression, lack of hunger, not wanting to eat, fails to take joy in life. Anyway, you can sort of further research and spread these out as well. But again, as we just see, if we scroll through here, we have a very sort of large mind map going now, and it can lead to some more interesting questions or options for our research paper. And you can start combining these two. So you might say, how do Indigenous peoples in northern Saskatchewan, how are they affected by depression? Or you might say, how are adolescent Indigenous people affected by depression in Canada? So you can start kind of combining interesting parts of these mind maps to create more sort of niche topics, and it'll allow you to sort of narrow your categories down. So there's no way that you could talk about everything related to depression in one paper. So it really forces you to sort of narrow your topic down. So maybe you're interested in how elderly people in care homes are, what treatment options they have available for them for their depression. So maybe there's a research paper that exists that talks about pet therapy in care homes as a way to treat elderly people with depression. So you might be interested in that area. So again, this is just a start, but again, I want you to sort of start practicing how to mind map. So I'm going to give you this as homework to create your own mind map out of your own topics. You don't have to pick depression. You can pick another topic, or you could do depression too. But again, I want you to try to create your own web here, your brainstorming. And you can save it here too. So I think this website should allow you to save your file. So please confirm that you do want to save this as a free file. Okay, so yeah, you can save your file. And again, it's a neat way to sort of start the research process because it forces you to sort of narrow your category. So try that as an activity and see if you get any ideas. You could do various ones, so you don't have to just stay with the same topic. You can keep changing. Start another root word and start mind mapping off of that. But these are some, you could say contributing factors. You could look for treatments. You could look for people is a good category to include. Location, signs, symptoms. These are kind of the broader categories that you can start branching off from. And yeah, so give it a try. And on Tuesday's class, you can let me know how it went. So I think there is a way that you can save your mind map once you're happy with it. Here at File, I haven't used this program that much, but you can save and save file, and then you also should publish your map, and then you can it'll keep it published for 6 months if you're okay sharing that. Maybe making it public, you can do this. Again, this is optional, but we'll say share. And then you should be able to find it. And then it'll give you options to share or send links. So if I wanted to share this with classmates, or if you want to share it with me, you can send it by email that way. So it just gives us some options in order to sort of preserve your mind map. And have fun with it. You could start even generating some questions based on what you came up with here. Just generate some ideas or use this as a way to start narrowing your topic. And if you want to share your mind map with others, maybe we'll make that possible on our course homepage. Okay, so I just found another way to do it. If you want to save your file, you can also download it. I think the easiest way is to make it into an image or a PDF, but an image is fine. And then you just go through that. You can download it from there or open it up, and it lets you sort of save it as an image that you can easily access again on your desktop if you download it. So yeah, just a little neat tip here as a way to save and download our completed maps.